Good evening, everyone. This is Stephane Metral with MyBeBeeTV channel, and today we are lucky. We're going to travel from Montreal to San Diego to with James Stephane Usypchuk, CEO of GSO Solution. But we have live from the SMMW, the social media marketing World Summit. We have Desiree Martinez, CEO of All-in-One Social Media, with us. So give me a moment. I'm going to try to upload James and Desiree. They won't be long. Hello, James.
Hi, Stefan.
Desiree.
Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm pumped on social media marketing, like energy. It's like one great big Red Bull for your body over and over and over again here. I'm just so like gassed.
Okay, so thank for being there on behalf of all of us.
Yeah,
You
not a
could
problem.
make it. Right. So, Stefan, James, Stefan, and Desiree, I'm gonna, leave you all the microphone and the stage for you guys, so you can talk a little bit, about who is Desiree Martinez and what is all-in-one social media. Of course, if you can share your experience about the summit for the social media marketing world summit, that would be fantastic for the audience.
Sounds good. Can't wait.
Let's go.
Right. So nice meeting you, Desiree. Really quickly, I think what the viewers would like to know is give us a bit about your background, Cole's notes of what you've been up to, and the type of work you're really into.
Sure. So back in 2009, I was doing a lot of networking, kind of trying to figure out like what I wanted to do, when I grew up, essentially. And a lot of people have been getting onto Facebook at that time. And at the time, it was new for everyone to be on it. And I had been on it in college as the place everyone spent their time. And so people started asking me, Desiree, what is this Facebook thing? Like, what do I do? How does it work? Like, educate me. Let me know what's going on here. And I would use it as a networking tool to connect with people. Well, one day, this guy named Kevin told me, Desiree, you should just do this as a business. And I was a little thrown back and kind of laughed, like, no one's going to pay me to be on Facebook. Like, that's super silly and unrealistic. But I did a lot of research and I found there's actually a great need for the service. And so I started doing social media marketing for businesses, and I've been doing it since about 2009, 2010. My company, All-in-One Social Media, came about, though, in a very sort of unorthodox way, but still, that's how things just kind of always happen that are really good, right? I actually thought I was just going to like embark on motherhood, like be a full-time stay-at-home mom while my husband was serving our country in the United States Air Force. And I kept running into all of these military spouses who were like very educated, very experienced, who could not get work anywhere. They kept doing things like applying at retail stores and fast food restaurants. They were turned away because they were married to a service member. And I'm like,
Wow.
that's not right. Like, if you have experience, you should be able to get any job that you want. Well, this is actually a really common theme amongst all military spouses. Their number one struggle with military life revolves around not being able to get work. They have a lot of inconsistencies in their resume. They move every 2 to 3 years, and a lot of employers don't want to hire them because they're not going to be there for the long term. So I was like, you know what? I know how to do social media marketing. I have a big network of people. I can do this as a business for people while also putting military spouses to work. And so that's what I started doing. So I started all on social media in September 1st of 2016 with the mission to help small businesses grow on social media while putting military spouses to work. And so sort of our niche in this industry is we work with businesses of all kind, but generally more boring businesses. And a boring business is a business that the everyday person needs or visits on the regular basis, like roofers, plumbers, dentists, chiropractors, all of those kinds of service-based businesses, and also products as well. And they don't necessarily have really big budgets to grow their business in marketing, and they're trying to do a lot of things, but they just don't know where to start. They don't tend to have the time. Like, they're usually a specific trade. Like, I went to school to be a dentist, not to run a business. So there's usually that gap in marketing, and when you cut your marketing, it's usually the time you need it the most. So we work with that demographic to really help them shine and get seen in a cluttered newsfeed while growing their business, and we do all of the work so that they can focus on their business.
I mean, that's awesome. I think it's really admirable and such an interesting. I love stories where you kind of niche yourself, or the calling kind of finds you. So it's always a really exciting. Everybody likes a storybook kind of novel. So this is really a treat for me. So my understanding is you're at Social Media Marketing World. What's one thing you've learned so far that really ties in with what you're doing with your business?
Everyone got really stressed out when Facebook announced in January that they were going to be making a lot of changes to how the Facebook feed functions. And the biggest thing is that they're going to be giving less weight to all content that isn't what the users want, which is engaging, quality content. And so there are a lot of things that Michael Stelzner, who runs the conference, really digested for us and broke down for us so that we can really know what to do as marketers and business owners for our social media. And that's been the most fantastic takeaway, is having that information so that I can take it back for my business and for my business owners, so we can do a better job for them, or they can do a better job for themselves.
So, I mean, that's a real hot button topic. I know, I've heard the same thing on my end in Montreal. What's one piece of content that you would be able to suggest to the viewers right now that would, kind of be in line with what Michael was talking about?
I kind of think I have 3 points actually to share with you. One is post less, but make sure what you're posting is very high value, very high quality content. Second thing is going to be, it's time to stop thinking that social media, and specifically Facebook, is free. You need to make sure that if you're spending less time curating content, you should have more of that budget to put toward those Facebook ad dollars by creating custom insights to who your perfect avatar is or your perfect customer is, and advertise them specifically, starting off at low dollar amounts, maybe like $1 to $5 or $10 a day, if that's what your budget allows. And then the third piece is going to be, it's time to stop being afraid of the camera. Video is so unavoidable in our world today. How many of you guys have watched content because it's a video on your feed? How many of you, especially if the closed captions are on so you can read it but not hear it? But 86% of people will skip your content if they cannot read it while watching. Because I know for me, I want to watch a video, but I need to see what they're saying, so I'm going to read it. But I'm in a crowded room, or I'm in bed with my spouse, or my kids are around watching their show, and so it just ends up being extra noise. So it's time to invest in video. And whether you're going to do 60-second tips about what your business does, or something that can help your audience, or going live, which is a huge beneficial way. We're going live right now. You got to go live to share your content and, build up that excitement for it. So have a plan for it and do it regularly. But going live is so easy because you know what you're going to talk about. You're the expert in it. Pull out your phone, pull out your computer, and just hit that live button and you can go. Or even just doing something really big. And this is the most suggested thing to do, which is where you're using Facebook Watch, which is essentially Facebook's version of Netflix, but for its everyday creators. It's everyday, and you would be a creator as a business. I'm a creator because I have all of these videos on YouTube that I'm doing. So it's whatever you're creating that makes you a creator. So by investing in doing episodic shows, where you release a new video that's maybe 5 to 10 minutes, telling a story every Wednesday at noon, that kind of thing. So something episodic, so people have something to look forward to that's continuing to tell your story as a brand or a business.
I love it. I think it's so brilliant, especially, I mean, Facebook Live's been around for a while now, but I think it's really important for even the boring brands to start, harnessing and understanding the power behind it. If you were a dentist, or if you were speaking to a dentist right now, what would be one, I guess, Facebook Live or video content idea you would tell them to start producing?
I would find a way to give people suggestions or answer their questions. So there's a really popular book called They Ask, You Answer. And it's basically, think of, if you're struggling what to come up with, think of the top 10 things people ask you all the time, and do a video answering each question. And if you're doing it episodically, you literally just came up with 10 weeks of content for you to practice being in front of the camera while also answering the questions that people ask you all the time. So you're actually creating content that's going to serve a lot of purposes. People will be able to, you can put them on your website under your FAQs, and people can not just read what that is, they can see what you have to say. You can do things like send them to people directly in email, like you say, hey, you had this question, here's the video. If people send you a Facebook message asking one of those questions, just copy and paste that link in there versus trying to type something up. And you have that post on Facebook to use as an episode and Facebook Watch, and then you can boost it to your target demographic to make sure that maybe they have that question, they become aware of you, and that you're that source of knowledge for them, so that when they're ready to get their teeth cleaned, or they have a cavity or that tooth pain or whatever it may be, they remember that you're the one that taught them that.
Brilliant. I love it. I know back when I started my agency, the whole thing was get onto a blog and start blogging. Would you agree, or what are your thoughts on video and Facebook Live as the new blog format from a couple of years ago?
I think that blogs play a relevant role in your search engine optimization. However, a video on your website will perform 10 times better than anything that someone has to read. And on top of it, if you think about how much time does it take you to write something versus how long would it take you to give that exact same information by pulling out your phone and just recording it really quick, upload it to YouTube, and put it on your blog. And then you have served two purposes. You've given your website fresh new content, and you've also given it video. So it kills two birds with one stone. I think blogs have a very relevant place when done well, and it's a lot of work to do it really, really, really correctly in the way that will perform best. But a video makes it so much easier for you to accomplish that.
So I think, because I know on my end, a lot of people that I deal with, they often get the question, or they're going to get a little bit of stage fright when they think about the amount of production time that goes into video, the amount of planning. What are some tips you would give people to start producing and maybe kind of alleviate some of the stress or the fear around the production of video?
So let's say you just want to get started with video. The best camera to use is the one you have. So everyone carries a camera around in their pocket. Some of us even sleep with it next to us by the bed. So you literally have a phone near you more than anything else on a regular basis. But if you have in your head that you need to have a certain level of production quality, like me holding a camera, no one's going to take that seriously, even though they actually will, because we're becoming a culture that believes raw, vulnerable, real, mistake-having questions, videos. But if you feel that you need to have that production, you should, turn to your local community and see if you can find a videographer or a company that can put together a series of videos for you. Back in the old days, when you wanted to have a video done for a commercial, you'd hire a big studio and it'd be this whole expensive thing, and you would get a 30 to 60 second commercial that would only be seen on TV, or maybe if you're lucky, played on the radio. But now studios are doing more production, episodic, series oriented things, and they're doing it for a more reasonable cost and giving you those like raw files for your marketing team to use, for you to use, or maybe even they're the ones that execute it. So, if you're a local business, you have lots of resources like local networking to turn to. You can call your chambers. You can go to a BNI or a Toastmasters and ask people, hey, who do you know that does this? I want to get this done. And whoever you work with, don't just do one video. Plan like a whole quarter out of video content that you can use and make those 60 to 90-second videos to get it done.
I love it. So it seems like social media marketing world has been very, very video centric. Are there any other points or thoughts or anything, any other interesting tidbits that you've kind of absorbed that you want to share?
Yeah. So one of the biggest things, well, there's a couple. Like one is when you're doing video, it's actually important to think beyond the traditional landscape mode. It's time to start thinking vertical. And it's because people are consuming video on their phone more than anything else. People are watching Netflix on their phone. You got YouTube, people. And if you're doing stuff for marketing for Facebook or Instagram stories, like you have to be on this like long landscape mode. So you really have to start thinking horizontally, that portrait versus landscape, and that's a big deal. The other thing that's really important is that a smaller, more relevant and engaged audience has more value than a large audience does. So we're trying to get really focused in on those niches. And that statement came straight from Michael Stelzner's presentation. So people get really caught up in the numbers. I remember I used to work for a TV station back in Phoenix, and all they cared about with our Facebook page is how many likes do we have. And I kept trying to explain to them, like, we have a good number of likes, but we have really high engagement with who likes us versus other stations that have a lot of likes and low engagement. I had the numbers to show them, but they didn't care. They're like, no, we need to have those likes. We only care about how many likes we have. Well, that was even 5 years ago. So we're not there anymore, guys. Having a small, intimate community of people that like love you and engage with you and consume your content is priceless. So let's use our dentist example again. If you are able to build an intimate community, maybe even just like a Facebook page, or you have really a Facebook group of your clients, or maybe a local community of people that you're a part of, a BNI, a group. Like I know a lot of people have like Scott's, like just because I used to work in Phoenix a lot, the Scottsdale business owners or the ABC shopping center businesses and community. Like if you can build a quality community of people that consume your content and engage with you on it, it's going to be where your gold mine is. It's not about impacting 1 million people anymore. It's about impacting 100 people.
I think you're bang on, and I think it leads into my next question about Facebook groups. So Facebook groups have been, I'm sure the viewers have seen, it's popping up a lot more in their feed with regards to what people are looking for in engagement. Has anybody at the summit touched on the relevancy and the importance of groups and how it's kind of reemerged?
A lot of what we've been learning at the conference is like surface level. So surface level is like how you get their attention, how you get them to take that next call to action. And I really feel like that, and I agree with how they're doing things. The next call to action after this is the information, this is what you need to do, and this is like the surface, like you need, this is how to floss properly. And hey, if you want more tips on better dental hygiene, to be part of our dental community, let's join this Facebook group where you can talk with us more one-on-one. We have a community, whatever that may be. So a Facebook group, I feel like it's like the next sales level, like quote unquote sales level, where you're going to get people into it. And a bad example of how to do that is like, and I see this a lot with network marketing businesses. Network marketing businesses are all about, you have to have a Facebook group of people to sell to. Well, people like start a Facebook group and just go add people. Like that's like going on a date and trying to get someone in bed versus going to dinner. You gotta make this sell. And you have to tell them like, why are you worth my time? What is your knowledge? Where's the social proof? And so a Facebook group is excellent. Like, I love Facebook groups. It gives people to build one-on-one relationships, have exclusive content. You always have notifications on. When anyone in your group says anything, they're amazing. And I know so many marketers and business professionals that built their business through groups. But groups is like step 2. I feel like step 1 is like that surface level information where you're giving people that content. You're sharing with them. You're educating them. You're entertaining them.
I think it's brilliant. I mean, I look at a lot of successful current influencers. The most recent one, or the most prominent one that comes to mind, is John Loomer. He's had the Power Hitters Club for the longest time. And I think that's just proof of concept that even before the algorithm change, groups have been so important and so valuable to find a really high engaging customer base. Aside from video, what would be 1 or 2 tips you would give our viewers that are watching this now, so that for the next second and third quarter, they can maybe level up their marketing game?
So I would say you need to invest in high quality images. We're becoming a culture that I think really tunes out stock photos now. Like, we've gone through so many phases as a culture with how we tune out advertising. Like, we tune out all the billboards when we're driving down the street. We tune out commercials now. Like, who watches TV live anymore? So I think it's about creating content, high quality content, just for your brand. And I do this for men. So, like, what I do is I work with a photographer. I've worked out a reasonable rate with her, and I have a contract with her for 6 months. And I send her what my content plan is for the upcoming month. And I've sent her like props, and she's really gotten to learn and know my brand a lot through the content I am. Plus, we've become friends. And so she takes the photos for me based on the direction I give her, what I'm trying to share, the story I'm trying to tell with my social. And so she creates high quality images that I can use for my social media, and then I also can use them on my website. I can keep reusing them in other places. I can use them in my email marketing. The places I can use them is infinite, and they're made just for my brand. So when you go see my stuff, that's Desiree. That's who she is. And I also would suggest, if you're not going to create content like as deep as that is for me, you should schedule a session with a photographer just to do a lifestyle photo shoot for yourself, and even the people that work with you in your office, if you have people that work with you in your office at the location where you work. So for me, I just did one back in December, and it was me playing in the snow with my photographer, but showing off my fun, silly, carefree personality while also having my purpose for my business. So I have like pictures of me taking pictures with my photo, doing a Facebook Live on my phone, working on my computer, working with my content calendar, but really letting my guard down and not just being this business mask that so many people think they have to have. Like, oh, I'm just Dr. Smith the dentist, and I wear a white coat, and this is all that there is to my personalities. I'm just a dentist. Well, when in fact, like, you have a family, and you have interests, and you have hobbies, and you have a life, and you wear bright orange sneakers everywhere, like whatever that may be. So have fun, be silly, be goofy, be vulnerable, be yourself, and use those photos over and over and over again in your marketing. I put my photos all over my website. I use them on social media. I've used them on my business cards. I use them for presentations. Like, really just embrace high quality images that you can use across all of your marketing.
I think that's really important, and I think it's important to stress that you don't need to go big budget and go to Getty Images or Shutterstock. I mean, you could, but even then, that library is limited to all the other people that are paying for them. So I think going after a photographer is a brilliant strategy, and even coming up with like a kind of like a photography storyboard as well. I know from an ad standpoint, I've seen ads convert better if it's original. What would be, apart from getting a photographer, getting on video, one more strategy or tip you can share with our viewers today?
get your customers to be your raving fans. Whether that's, again, I know we've talked about video and pictures, but if you can get them on video giving a testimonial about what it's like to work with you, that is invaluable. Let's say you have a product that someone loves that they just like have taken pictures of using or done videos themselves of them using. Ask them if you can have the legal permission to use those for your own marketing to tell their story. You know, people don't trust brands nearly as much as they trust the people talking about them. You know, so much of social media ROI is so indirectly measurable. Like I've gotten leads from people really randomly and blindly because someone's like, hey, does anyone do social media? I need help with this. And someone is like, oh, you need to go talk to Desiree because this is what she does. And then they give them my email, my website, and then I get this referral. And I ask them, hey, how'd you find me? They're like, oh, Bob saw my post about needing somebody, and that's how I end up in their inbox. And they're like, I saw reviews on your site, and they advocated for you, so that's why I'm doing business with you now. So that's what you want, is that referral that comes from that.
I think that's a great point, and kind of tying into referral, it's really important to leverage that in an ad strategy. One question that we're seeing is, what would be your suggested average budget to kickstart any kind of half-decent social media campaign?
So we recently launched a new package. So All-in-One Social Media is a subscription social media service that manages content for customers so they don't have to worry about it. And a lot of people are in their own business they're working at. They don't tend to have the time for it. And so it's best to work with if you want to work with an agency, they can take care of it for you. And with this new algorithm change, we added this new package. And it's a Facebook and Instagram package where we create 3 custom graphics a week, about 12 a month, branded for your business. And we create the content for it. We do the hashtag research, and we even include a small Facebook budget in that package. And it gets taken care of for you based on the story that you've given us and the questions we ask you. And that starts at $199 a month. Wow,
really affordable.
Yeah, I understand. I've worked with small business owners for 8 years. And they have 2 problems. They don't have enough time to do everything they need to do to run their business. And 2, they don't have big budgets. And I ran into people saying this statement over and over again. I want to do social media, but it can't be the only form of marketing I'm doing. I need to also be able to do SEO. I need to also be able to do advertising. Oh, I also have this BNI I'm a part of, or I have these networking things I'm investing in, or I'm sponsoring this event. And so social media needs to be a part of it. But if it eats up all of their budget for all of their marketing, it's not going to be as effective, because a good online strategy covers a lot of verticals, and social media is just like a form of telling your story and driving those leads. And so I wanted to be a resource that provided a valuable service at an affordable cost for them.
I think it's really important to always understand the customer, and I think it's really, really cool that you guys have developed that package, especially when it comes to ads, because I know it can get very pricey. Being in the agency life myself, I mean, I see people easily overcharge for stuff where it could be something very simple like $199. So I think that's brilliant, Desiree. For our audience, where could they find you? Where can they connect with you on social?
Yeah, so if you want, you can learn all about All-in-One and our things that we have. I have a podcast, I have a YouTube channel, and of course our social media. You can find all that at allinonesocialmedia.com. But you can, if you want to follow me in specific places, you can follow me on Instagram and on YouTube at Mrs. Desiree Rose, MRS DESIREE ROSE. And if you're also love the sultry sound of my voice and you want to listen to me ramble some more, I do have a weekly podcast I do called Marketing for Your Boring Business. And you can find that. We just released our 33rd episode where we dissect Instagram line by line, like from the profile, every line you have to do, what you have to do in your picture, what you need to do in your description, what you do with the hashtags, where to use emojis, how to engage. Like, It's so detailed, and that came out today, Thursday, the 1st of March. It's our 33rd episode. So we do one every week on Thursday, and you can find that at allinonesocialmedia.com/podcast.
Really nice. And are you on LinkedIn? That's just my platform of preference.
I am on LinkedIn. You can find me under Desiree Martinez. LinkedIn.com/Desiree. I think it's Desiree Rose Martinez on LinkedIn.
Beautiful. Well, thanks so much for being here, Desiree.
Yeah, and on the subject of LinkedIn, as like a teaser for maybe this will be like another video we do, Michael Stelzner says that LinkedIn is one of the most high value and underrated social networks that people aren't using for business. So
100%.
Just saying, I have a panel I'm going to tomorrow about it, and there will be a lot of information to be shared.
I can't wait. I know LinkedIn, even though I'm a Facebook ads guy, LinkedIn's probably my top, my most favorite platform, and we get 80% of our leads there. So I couldn't agree more.
I can't wait to figure out how that conversion works. I'm very excited to dive into it. I've got a really solid handle on Facebook and on Twitter and on Instagram, and I'm getting a lot better with YouTube. But LinkedIn is always this one that like I post and I'm there and I have a big network, but I'm really excited to dive in and understand it better so that I can help my clients better.
Brilliant.
That's great. That's great, guys. So it was quite interesting, and we had a few questions from the audience this evening. Because people are very curious about, what is that all about? I think that Desiree, you're gonna do weekly updates, from a week to another or something like that.
I do a weekly video on my YouTube channel with social media, and I'm usually teaching about various things. I also am going to hopefully start doing live on a weekly basis as long as I can get like the tech figured out the way I want it. So hopefully that'll happen in March.
It's all about producing a content and put it in order to deliver it to the audience. And of course, when I'm saying weekly exposed, because basically, everybody would like to do a weekly update, but sometimes when you look at the numbers and the amount of work that quality content requires, sometimes you do 2 a month or every 10 to 15 days, Basically, that's the reality, because it takes time, resources, money as well. It's not because, you guys are making things affordable that producing content is also affordable, because all the gears, when you're doing high definition photography, that's money as well. And it needs to have a plan, right? But I think, when on a constant basis, if you're doing something consistently, then the audience starts to see a value. Time and repetition bring them education and information. And then they start to be hooked on you because they love your personality, your style, what you're doing, and that becomes a rendezvous, right? And then after you grow an audience, and I think you were right when you're, eager to know about, how does that very weird organic outreach works, function, evolves, lives, and after to master that is something that is fascinating. I know you can engage James because he's into that these days. he's quite happy about the first results, like, oh, we're looking for 300, but no, I'm dealing with 12K or something, or just over 10 days. Like, it's something new. Like, people are not used to practice. And once you're doing it, you reveal yourself and your talents to that organic outreach, and that organic outreach gives you love back, right? Because actually, when they are here at the rendezvous, first the KPIs and the metrics are satisfying yourself, but at the end, it depends how you structure your funnel. Usually, people are using a reverse funnel versus the old classic conventional funnel that everybody's using everywhere, like the click, 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 and sell. Now, people are more into conversation, advocacy, and conversation, a lot of conversation. This is why the groups or the events that are created something that is, worth doing. Because actually, from a crowd from 12, 20, 60, 100 people can come to your digital events. So it's all about having a software that can manage 100 people asking questions and discussing together.
Right on.
So if you want to wrap up on this, I got no problem about this because it's getting late here in Montreal, Canada. I see James' eyes blinking. Mine are gonna do that soon. And you're lucky because you're in California, right? So how's the weather over there?
It's been a little colder than people have liked, but I live in Korea right now, and so it's nice and warm compared to the negative temperatures I'm used to experience. So, but my night is going into like phase 3. I've been doing this all day, and I have to go do more stuff.
Okay. So
living the dream.
We're gonna wrap up on this. People can ask questions in the comments. We've shared on several pages and groups. We also share that on all-in-one social media because your actual first audience, the legacy audience, will have also the privilege to have you say, "Hey, you were in San Diego." Yeah, she was.
I'm here. I did it. I did the thing.
Yeah. And probably like waving the hand. Where are you coming back, Desiree?
Yes.
It's just letting you go in San Diego, California, but I probably want you back in a few days from now, right? So thank you for this evening, guys.
My pleasure.
On the
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
On MyBeBeeTV channel, and I'm looking forward for the next episode with new contents and novelties to discuss all together. Thank you for your time.
Have
a great evening. Take care.
Take care.